Okay. Okay. Could have been solved easier. Oh, there she is.
Standing here in the bright sunshine, looking out over the vast ocean. Those days in London seem like a dream. But I do miss my time in England's vast capital. You know, he's flourished into a truly wonderful lawyer. I've no doubt that at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in court. Forgive me for taking so long to come to visit you. My life has been such a whirlwind since I returned. And no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
Oh, not her again.
So I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court. For the only time in my life. As a lawyer. So please,
she's dead.
I ask for your guidance. Kazuma-sama.
Of course she asks Kazuma. The Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney. So we play her instead? Why are we playing Susie? Why? I was so happy when she was gone. No. My sadness. Here I am again, after 9 months, the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. I feel so nervous, but I must steel my nerves and find a way to compose myself. Yes, that's basically the voice I gave her. I know the voice actress there was different and very British, by the way, for a Japanese person. But in the first game, she never spoke, really. Oh, this guy. Ah, good, you're here. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late. Imagine being a streamer and late. Oh, yes, good morning, sir. I hardly recognize you. You cut a fine figure, counsel. But you look as white as a sheet, and those white eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Oh dear. The truth is, I'm so incredibly nervous. I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish that I would never be born. Goodness. Not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say. Eugene Mikotoba, professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. A man who early in his life traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical science. And of course, my brilliant father.
Excuse me. I always speak voices like that when I don't know who they are. Another voice for a female. Great. I would be correct in thinking that you're to be my lawyer in court today?
Yes, that's right, miss.
Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to... I'm changing her voice. Je suis parle français. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear on my life. It's a complete fabrication, this whole thing. Yes, this is a French-Japanese person now.
Ray Membami, born the same year as I, and my greatest friend. Though unusual for a woman in our time, she works at the university research laboratory helping my father. And sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial. Accused of committing a truly awful murder. Are you feeling all right? Since we started talking, you seem, well, to have become a little flushed. Sacre bleu! Well, it's just that you look so gallant and dashing. Sorry? And when I fall under your intense gaze, it makes me feel rather bashful. Goodness, I don't think she knows. She hasn't realized who I am.
It would seem our little plan for this trial is going to work.
Oh? What do you mean, Professor Mikotoba?
If even your best friend can see through the disguise, I think we can relax.
Disguise? Yes, I've never tried dressing this way before, of course, so I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. But this does make me feel a little relieved, as you say, Father.
Papa!
What? Is that you, Susie? I'm so sorry, I didn't say anything sooner, Ray. No! What are you doing? What's going on? Quack, quack, what? What, quack, 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 quack. That varsity uniform, that varsity cap, that varsity cape, that varsity badge. Look at you. You look for all the world just like a student of the Imperial Yume University. A male student. I'm so glad you think so. It means all my preparations have been worthwhile. I woke up at 4 this morning to make a start. Mais je ne comprends pas. Why are you dressed like that? Well, you see,
it was the only way. The only way she would be permitted into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial. My defense?
Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body.
Oh.
Courts in Japan are bared to women. You're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom. Despite the fact that the laws of the land apply to all people, male and female alike.
Meh. Women are forbidden. So here's the first plot hole. Why is she, as the defendant, allowed inside the court? I mean, she is clearly breaking the court rules, right? Does that mean being female is a free ticket for everybody? Like literally? Like you can just go and murder everyone on the stairs to the court and be like, haha, but I'm female, so therefore you cannot trial me. Society is looking a bit different today, yes.
Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door, so that I can act as your lawyer.
Hi, Coffee. How are you doing?
Oh, Susato, you'd go such lengths for me? Of course, you're my greatest friend. You're taller than me. I just worried that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve.
No. I have complete faith in you. I was too busy eating to type.
Ray,
It's so strange though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. And yet, just because you're a woman, what a wretched reason. Cleaned up and finished some chores and now I'm done with all of it. That's always a good feeling at least. I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so gallant and dashing.
Ray, please don't look at me like that, with those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. I might fall for you.
Oh,
Pardon, it's just you really look so dashing. Yes, you mentioned that once or twice.
You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man.
I'm pleased, I think. It certainly helped to bolster my confidence today. Ray, you're managing to put on a brave face in all of this, but I can see through it. I've noticed how your shoulders are slumped and how you're trembling ever so slightly.
Yes, like that. Freezing cold.
Susato, Susie. You do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean, murder? Of course. You have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Now go back into the bucket with soap water. Isn't that right? Oui, it is perfectly clean. I've absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence, which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Even if they're cutting off our heads inside of the court, I will still stand by your side and watch. I mean, whatever happens, I'll always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer. That means so much to me, Susie.
Defendant counsel, court is about to begin. Proceed to the court and room at once. I hate this guy. You should go in at once, Ray. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty. What? Yeah, the defendant was late 2 seconds. Off with her head.
Ah. Stand aside. Je suis japonais. Oui, ah. I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast.
Well, Susie, you've certainly surprised your father. Going to such lengths to be admitted into the courtroom and with no prior experience of being a lawyer, considering that I also talk about myself in the third person.
There was simply no other way. That's all there is to it. But father! You haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming that Ray doesn't know how it came to this?
Yes, quite right. I've kept that information from her. It would only worry her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. I didn't want to burden her with that.
And is it true, the reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it really because of who the victim was?
Hey, coffee. Did you see who the victim was in this case? The victim in this case is the lady from the very first case. You know, with the swan head. She's dead. Not that we will miss her, but it is rather funny. You know? She was like trialed. We found out it was her, and then she didn't get like a punishment for doing it because she's a foreigner, right? You cannot really make her go to jail, and now she's dead. We should be making a move now, too. Oh no, what should we do aside from having a beer and celebrate, right? Hi, Bob. As you know, law isn't my field, but I'll do what I can do to support my student.
Thank you, Father. Now let me get the beer and the food. I'm Susie Mikotoba, a judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain. But 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan.
What is this? What is going on? What has Iris done to this guy?
How many times have I wished that he were here, I wonder. Still, I have no choice but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Man, Rono, you're looking like a ridiculous guy. now. What is this? Are you starting to play Digimon?
No, Sholmes has infected Naruhodo. Yes. Apparently.
Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san.
Oh gee, I can't wait how much the Japanese court has changed. Do they also have now a jury? Is it containing tourists from overseas in Japan? Apparently not. Since this is not center, this is... This court is now in session to hear the trial of Rei Membami. What a ridiculous last name. And the Russian revolutionist, yes.
The prosecution is fully ready to proceed, Your Excellency.
He's looking as shit as always. Defense counsel, are you ready? Wait, I'm confused. Is this Susie? He looks like ass, as per usual. Yes, Your Excellency, we are ready.
Ready.
Ah yes, counsel. According to your registration details, your name is, Mr. Fluffbottom from McDurnington. Having a hairstyle this ass should be a crime punishable by Sudoku, yes. Ryutaro Naruhodo, is that correct?
Sorry?
Oh yes, I had to come up with a suitable male name for you for this little venture. So I'm afraid to say I simply put down the first name that sprung to my mind. The son that I never had. Well, counsel.
Yes, that's right. That's me. I'm a guy, definitely, as you can hear from my voice. Yes, I am Ryutaro, who has vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan. What a ridiculous name.
Ah, you could have fooled me with the high-pitched voice. I guess you are only like 12. That makes sense. 12-year-old lawyers in my court. It seems Ryutaro may need to consider how better to uphold his manly act first and not overdo it. And those wild, wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Just relax and listen.
Naruhodo?
A fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. But the name Naruhodo, would that perchance be?
You may be thinking of Ryunosuke or Bruno Naruhodo, currently in Britain as part of a study program. This,
His cousin!
That's right. Ryu here has been studying in the provinces but was called to the capital for this trial. I assure you, in matters of law, his knowledge rivals that of Tokyo's preeminent lawyers.
Any of them.
Toot, toot, toot. What a pitiful situation. Having been rejected by every lawyer in the capital, the accused has been has had to call in a country boy. Nani?
How dare you, Susanto? Susie is every bit of a gallant and dashing as you know any Tokyo attorneys. I won't have you making fun of her.
Here?
Please be careful, Ray.
What an unrefined tomboy we have here.
I mean, he already acknowledges it.
But I wonder, is your gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes very much suggest that he is not.
I'm so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand what Bruno goes through. Like it or not, eyes are wont... What? Eyes are wont to flit. Eyes are wont to flit.
That is, what is this? Is this like Paragonese? The case to be heard on this day is a matter of great significance to our national interest. National. Why is every court case in Japan an interest of national interest? Like every single court case. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may well affect the very future of our empire. So fuck it up.
Just like the trial 9 months ago. And yet for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown yokel by the dock? Dear me.
Perhaps this would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense. To determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom. 9 months ago, when a certain other Runo stood here, where you are standing now, this same judge tested him as well. And even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with flying colors. For a trained and experienced Jody like you, this will be easy. So, counsel, do you consent to answering some simple questions?
All right, it is time to prove myself.
She's doing the same thing.
Yes, Your Excellency, but please do make them simple.
Very well. To start with, you will tell me your favorite color. Next, you will tell me the speed of a loaden swallow. You will state the name of the victim.
Phew, that's simple. I couldn't forget that if I try.
What's the matter?
Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Bruno goes through. Like it or not, minds are wont to blank.
Minds are wont to blank. Maybe we try. Minds went blank. My mind went blank. What is this? Who translated this? We're talking about a Capcom game. Fire the translator. It's not surprising, really. It's your first time in this position and in that guise. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter a little under the circumstances.
Oh dear, this is a dismal failure.
Don't fret. You only need to use the knowledge you've gained as a Judy to overcome the problem.
Of course, the court records. How could I forget? I also have this book that isn't able to contain all the information I'm pretending to know, but I usually take it, open it, and slap a page and go like, oh my god, I'm so smart. Yes, the answer will be amongst the key information about the case in the court record.
That's right. Just use E to open the court record.
But what is E?
Yeah, just press E.
But I don't have E. What are you talking about?
E. Susie. E. Just press E.
What are you talking about, you crazy bastard?
And you need to flip to the people section with E.
There's E again. What are you talking about?
And don't take too long over it. His Excellency is watching you closely.
Alright, check the court record by pressing E, whatever that is. I don't even understand. What's the information there? There it will be. I'm so scared. I'm nervous. What is going on?
I'm waiting, Counsel. What is the name of the victim in this case? It's probably Jezebel something. Yeah.
Giselle Brett.
A British female. Time of death 11th August around 2 p.m. Certain by examination on witness statement. Cause of death, single deep stab wound from behind, piercing a lung and resulting in a fatal hemorrhage. Death would have occurred within minutes. Notes: extreme meiosis, pupil constriction, was observed in the victim in both eyes.
Jezebel Brett. The name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Jessie Brett. Jessie Brett.
A name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of our country, I'm sure. I don't know, maybe because she took actual evidence and broke it in front and actually destroyed it in front of everybody in court, and we took it as it's okay. Correct. And being a member of our empire's jury, you will be well aware of the significance of that name. So let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brad was a visiting student from the Empire of the Great Britannians. Why then is her name indelibly associated with our own empire's Judy history? Obviously, you won't have forgotten the case from 9 months ago. But if it's proving hard to recall the finer points, everything you need is included in the court record.
Obviously, I still remember.
Obviously, I still don't remember. But there's nothing. Maybe I need to go to people. The victim of the case, who was a former British exchange student, 9 months ago she was found guilty of the murder of visiting Professor Dr. John Wilson. Yeah.
That was the start of everything. Jessie Bread. Behind the woman student's persona was the face of
Queen Victoria. Yes. Well, a killer.
9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University was killed. And the culprit was Jessie Bread.
Yes, she was a killer.
At the time, our country has just signed a new treaty with the Empire of the Great Britannians. And it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, who is also making music later on in Star Wars but is named differently, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikotoba. Marfoda?
Yes, I was indebted to the man. He'd been a mentor when I went to London to study forensic medicine. Indeed, it was I who invented him. Yes, I invented him, instead invited him here to Nipponese as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter the government wished to resolve rapidly and then bury. Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here at the Supreme Court. I don't know who is speaking that. A student of the Imperial Yume University was arrested on suspicion of murder. A second-year English language student by the name of Runo Naruhodo. With the help of his best friend, a student lawyer, the accused conducted his own defense and exposed the despicable crime committed by Miss Jessie Bread. Miss Bread eventually admitted to her crime and became a morning breakfast. However, when questioned about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, she gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion, and then she just walked out of our courtroom because we are just dumb.
Immediately after the trial, the British government brought its consular jurisdiction into play. We were unable to sentence Miss Bread according to our empire's law. I wanted her head. It was decided that she would be removed to Shanghai, China instead, where she needed to eat food, good food actually.
Why Shanghai?
There's a British consular court there. Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week.
What?
So basically she was in court, she destroyed evidence in front of everybody, and everyone took it as like, it's fine. And then we decided that she is the killer. She was found guilty. And then she walks out of the court, and it takes almost 9 months for them to contact Shanghai and be like, you know, we have like a British murder here. Would you like to trial this one? And then they send back another answer and go like, yeah, you're right, that sounds reasonable, send her over. I want to remind everybody we live in the beginning of 1900, and we have already established that telegramming, yes, not our app here, but telegramming in the Morse code sense of beep 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 beep, is a part of this current present. And you tell me it took them almost 9 months to get an okay from Shanghai to transfer a British convict to trial. How? All that remained of our empire's obligations was to see the woman safely on board the steamship.
And yet, the very day before her departure, the English woman was killed.
Only the day before?
That will do. I'm satisfied the counsel for the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant. Yes, because that makes sense, right?
Oh. Domo, arigato, Your Excellency. Over the first hurdle.
Now, a summary of the incident, if you please. Prosecutor Ouchie?
As you wish, Your Excellency. The repugnant crime took place on the 11th August in broad daylight. On the outskirts of the imperial capital under bright blue sky at a secluded bathing spot by the sea. Because she was a convicted murderer, we sent her on a holiday beach episode. The incident occurred inside a small beach hut erected for bathers to rest and change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lung.
As we have established. What is the swan going to do? Is the swan just like dying on her head? Why is she? It looks almost as if she's smiling, which is weird. She was clearly writing something. There are also feathers here, which is weird. It's a parasite that lives off her brain cell. But she didn't have any.
An injury which proved fatal. There were 2 persons alone together in the beach hut at the time of the victim's death.
She used to have some.
Miss Brett, in her bathing attire, which is very important to mention, and the accused, Ray Mbambi. Accordingly, there can be no doubt of the accused's guilt because she's a woman and I hate women unless I adore them. Especially when consider that she had a powerful motive. The police arrived rapidly at the scene and promptly arrested the young lady.
Why is he not mentioning this powerful motive. I also like how we go into this case again and have no clue what is going on. Like, we haven't looked at any evidence, we don't know what actually happened, what is supposedly to be the motive, nothing. It's it's like taking a student and go like, you're a student, right? Yes. Take it, put it in a room and go like, okay, fine. I think you have never studied astrophysics. Let's do a test. If you don't pass, we're going to kill you. The student goes like, no problem. Well, that extra common description of events leaves me somewhat lost for words. That's why I just said so many words, I must say.
That's certainly true. The prosecution's summary was full of words that raise an awful lot of questions, blah.
You know what? I'm kind of gonna miss the Sami Mummy in the Japanese court.
As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about.
Honestly, let's start with the motive.
You're clearly exaggerating. Powerful motive is a blatant overstatement.
Toot, toot, toot. It's the yokel boy using long swords he doesn't fully understand.
I beg your pardon?
No matter. Let's put this to the accused, shall we? Bambi-san, you are a research assistant at the Imperial Yume University, I believe.
Oui. Je suis. I'm working with Professor Mikotoba and his laboratory at the moment.
I can confirm that the defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility. You may.
I know.
From here on, I will call it Jubilee. I will call it Jubilee University. I know it's you may. Bananas.
Fascinating to hear. Now another question.
Nuts. These nuts? You may nuts. You may nuts.
Prior to your work with Professor Mikotoba, whose research were you assisting then?
I was studying under Dr. John H. Wilson.
Dr. Wilson, the visiting English professor who was murdered by Miss Brad 9 months ago. Oh, and now we just say like,
She's taking revenge. She's really angry on his nuts.
The accused had a deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Dr. Wilson. Is that not true?
Oui. Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man.
Interesting. Why am I making the French accent? I don't understand. Then tell the court that deep-seated feelings you had towards the English woman who killed him.
Well, obviously, I was filled with hatred for what she'd done. A powerful hatred.
that's not really helping.
No, Ray, be careful of what you're saying.
The motive was revenge. Plain and simple, Your Excellency.
Well, it was clearly a trap all along.
How wicked of him to use Ray's undying respect for her former mentor against her like that. I must find out more details and something we can use to bolster our defense. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about.
Let's start from the beginning, the bathing spot.
If I may, Prosecutor Ouchie.
What do you want, you fresh-faced young yokel student?
I wonder, could you explain, please? You mentioned a bathing spot.
My apologies. Clearly my modernity has confused the poor country bumpkin's simple mind. Bathing spots are the very latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skins.
Don't you have onsen for that? Why do you need the sea now?
No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brad had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder. Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea?
For all time's sake, I believe.
Sorry?
Sorry?
Miss Brad was depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish was, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast. And the British embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply.
But on what grounds would we agree to such a request?
Because, as per usual, our government is unable to stand up for foreign powers because it is a scaredy cat. In matters of diplomacy, it seems that we don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal. And the British Empire goes like, I like countries that don't stand up for themselves. I have a flag and some ships and a can.
Don't look at me, Professor. It's not like I like it. It was the government who granted permission, not I. In any case, it was decided that with the dedicated detective on duty, nothing could go wrong. Clearly wrong.
But in fact, a murder took place.
I said, don't look at me. It was the young student girl who did it, not I.
No one has proved that yet.
I wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to.
At this stage, I need to get more information, I think. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about
Being alone together.
Bambi-san.
Oi. What is it, Susan? Naruhodo-san. Sticks that fling small metal orbs at your enemies in general direction.
I'm really starting to wish we'd made my alias Ryutaro Susato. Please tell the court why exactly you were present at the bathing spot with the victim in the first place. And why you were alone with her.
Oh, well, no. That's not true. It wasn't like that at all. There were other people present. A detective who was guarding Miss Brad for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Brad as a companion, that's all.
But let us be clear. At the moment of her death, you were alone together with the victim in the hut. You and no one else. And me watching through 2 holes. Oh, wait. The truth is, there's only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett on her bathing sojourn. It was the accused's last chance to take the victim's life.
No.
Because, as we know, the following day would see Miss Brett extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai. And the accused would never have an opportunity to dispatch her again.
So many people talk, and there's basically like only one person in the general public sitting at the sides.
Kindly refrain from conjecture, Counsel.
I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now. No, we don't. Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brad managed to avoid incarceration, instead continuing her research work at the university. Obviously, over the period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions.
Seeing the murder of the mentor for whom she had such great respect, enjoying such undeserved liberty.
Yes, even if it was only temporary, until Miss Brad's extradition to Shanghai. You can hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment.
Poor Ray.
So, Your Excellency, if you would be so kind as to pursue this exhibit. A photo that shows the scene of the crime immediately following the grim incident.
It's a lot of things on the ground. I also like how she has everything like clothes, champagne, wine, another dress. Okay, we see a lot of feathers on the ground, which makes sense because of the swan. There's the glass. There's wine. She has a pen in the hand. She has her usual mask. She was stabbed from behind, that is clearly visible. Then we have this, eyes, more drinks. There's her traveling case, I guess. A brush, clothing, shoes. There's this thing here, which I'm not sure what this is. You know, there's a chance that someone literally just stabbed her through the wall, because you see this, right? So if someone like kind of used a spear, you know, could literally stab through that into her back when she was like sitting on this chair. Well, don't have to go with a spear. Like a knife would be fine enough if she was sitting on it with the back against the hut.
As you can clearly see, there is nowhere within the hut that anyone else could have hidden.
They didn't need to. The court will accept this photo as evidence. As I understand it then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. This is deeply troubling, I must say. The finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant.
Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to this case. We intend to prove the accused's appalling actions beyond all possible contention. To that end, I can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence.
What happened in that hut? It's a hut, she's inside, Ray is inside, and then there are probably like 5 people at the door, like leaning in and looking inside and going like, oh.
Witnesses? But who?
One of whom, I might add, is a highly respected police detective.
Oh no.
I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt.
Oh,
Very well then, counsel. Bring forth your witness. Witnesses, actually.
I, Takatani Tukonomo, Taketsuchi Auchi, have been waiting for this moment.
sorry?
Oh yes, I haven't forgotten. The trial 9 months ago here in this very courthouse. When that irreverent little student boy utter humiliated me. I'm actually into that.
He looked better back then. Now he looks worse. I like how they... this is the second game, right? I like how they didn't even put the effort to... I wonder if this is because I changed the attire of... Oh, I know why. I know why we see this attire on Runo. Because I went into the option and changed a few costumes. And I think it only affects the second game. And that's why we are seeing this. This is from the very first case, by the way. Not going to read that. That's why he looks so shitty, because he's incapable of actually binding his hair back upside. How? How can you for 9 months not even decide to change that?
Strike the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut and the bell of cultural enlightenment tolls. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died.
The start of your own mini Meiji Revolution. Are you modernizing as well, Council?
Silence! Since I swore revenge back then, there has been a minor miracle atop of my head. Observe the algae growth. You see this seed of hope sprouting forth from the barren expanse of my crown.
I think that tiny growth is trying to tell me something. Oh. I'm afraid I can't really see. Where is the hope exactly?
I said silence. Today I face another yokel student of the Naruhodo clan. Well, I will vanquish you. And my victory will be fertilizer for the seed of hope atop of my head. You have been warned.
That's a pretty hairy situation we have here.
With that, the prosecution calls the witnesses to the stand.
It looks like the stakes are higher on both sides in this trial. The prosecution and the defense each has much to lose.
A haircut is hardly comparable to Ray's life.
True? Oh no, he's back. Oh no, he's back! Can we stop this case immediately, please? At this moment, can we skip this case? Can we go to the next one? Please. Please. Just please. I don't want to. Do you understand the implications that we are doing here? No. I also forgot what voice I gave to the police guy. My voice is already suffering.
Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court.
What voice did I give him? I will give him a different voice. Chief Inspector, 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 Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected. No, not him. And I am, well, the next big thing in books. An author renowned throughout the capital, in fact. Yes. Soon to be sold out, the satirical I'm a Cat sensational success by Soseki Natsume. I am a cat. By the way, this guy is also going to be a witness because he has this ink stain. Alright, I called him Sasuke, that's why.
Oh my goodness.
Struggling student from the provinces, please, you needn't be in awe of me.
I needn't.
It's only natural that you would feel nervous in my presence. But all of you, please, relax. Call me Sasuke even.
Yes. What on earth is Sasuke doing here?
Tread carefully, Susie. That author fellow knows you from the time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, this will be over before it's begun.
Yes, of course, I know. I presume Sasuke won't have forgotten about me. I could certainly never forget him. Although he doesn't seem to have changed somewhat. He doesn't...
What? Wait, English.
Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months. Also, it's been since I last saw him. And as for the Inspector Hosonaga, that amazing outfit is hard to believe.
Do I have something in my face?
Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see.
Welcome back.
Thank goodness, he hasn't recognized me either.
Ah, I suppose it's this disguise, is it? I thought that appearing here in the clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. It is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. But what business does a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Sasuke?
Oh, well, you see, I have been asked that day to give a lecture on the morning of the incident in an Imperial University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less. At Yume University? After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the medical science department. The professor over there, in fact. With my with Professor Mikutoba? Microbe?
Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted a story all about... they wanted some story or other about... What is this? They wanted some story or other about... What happened in this game? What happened? Did the translator lose enough brain cells just as we did and then took some drugs?
What is going on?
It's a valid sentence? How is this a valid sentence? They wanted some story or other about two former students who'd studied in Great Britain. Oh, they wanted some story or other. No, yeah, okay. They wanted some story or other about Look, here's my next problem. Why is English dumb when it comes to commas? You know, if I wrote this sentence, I would write, they wanted some story or other, comma. about 2 former students who'd studied in Great Britain. Why? Because the comma indicates that there is the break between the 2 topics in this sentence, and you understand. I have a news site I look at from time to time, and they have a tendency to write a title for the news they have there, and they use no commas, and you read sometimes these news titles and you go like, what do they mean? Who needs commas? I need commas. They wanted some story or other about 2 former students who'd studied in Great Britain. Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone. They secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy. As you can see, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial, struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies. Thank you very much. He practically threw the paper at me. Okay. I actually didn't want to... Give me this. Jesus. Oh look, I found coffee again. Coffee, you are in the newspapers. I like that they took this photo, but apparently the lens is broken. And the newspaper still accepted this picture, which is weird. Look at Coffee. Cute. He's so cute. Look at him. Being all meow meow. A newspaper containing an article about a discussion between my father and Sasuke. The debate became quite spirited. I will never come close to the presence of Sasuke. Understandable. The lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. Those were her words. As I explained before, Miss Brad was never taken into custody. Is the answer to the riddle compliment? No. She continued to work in my lab under strict surveillance, of course.
At which utterance the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance. And then Bob just bashed into our court and made us to change the scene. And the response was, permit Miss Brad to go as long as a detective accompanies her.
That detective, I am at liberty to divulge, was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga.
Thereby the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems.
It was extremely challenging to clear all other members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. Time to check paradoxes from Wikipedia. Why is he still doing But unfortunately, I am at the peak physical fitness at the moment. So, I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly. Why is he still bleeding? Why has he not gone yet to a doctor about this?
Oh my, Inspector, you! Well, you do have something on your face now.
Oh, how unsightly. I do apologize. I had some fries with ketchup this afternoon.
Does that mean that you went to the beach too, Father?
No. Fortunately, I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that my assistant, Ray, was invited to take my place. Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. But if I had, I'd never had seen that awful sight. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret. Very well, I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. You will give the account of all that you witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast. Of course, Your Excellency. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret I am. On the day the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I just managed to catch the crab when I suddenly heard a carter wall from behind me. I ran to the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question. Yes, that young girl was astride the young girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly. Is the answer sock? No. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. Indeed, it does appear from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. The very moment of this heinous crime. What if the answer was a pair of socks? No.
What?
Now, if you will recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes, it was, that was it. Damning evidence.
3 socks. Take it or leave it. Leave it, because it's not correct. What have you here there, Counsel? A so-called fountain pen, is it? Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. Last offer, 3.5 socks. No. It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength, the victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer.
What?
Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photo of the crime scene once more.
What do you mean? No, that's the best offer I can give you at the moment. And it wasn't good enough to solve the riddle. Oh, goodness me. Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. That's right, the fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. Oh. The owner's initials have been engraved into the ebonite barrel. R.M. Ray Bambi. The initials of the defendant.
Oh, no! Yay!
Ebonite. This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence. The pen that the victim was found grasping in her hand carries the initials RM. I still like how this court goes like. The victim, it had a piece of evidence that belonged to another person, therefore the other person must be the murderer. Because she couldn't have given that pen to her to write something and then she was murdered? That's completely impossible, right? Of course it is.
So, have I omitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence. There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel.
I don't understand. The prosecutor, Ouchie, of 9 months ago had none of this man's poise.
Counsel of the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now. Naru! Naru?
That means... Oh, yes, me.
Is there another Naru holder in my courtroom?
No, but in the UK. Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom.
Cousin Ryutaro, pull yourself together, please.
Alright, I've seen this countless times as a Judy. Find inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they are lying somehow.
What happened to the 0.5 sock? Is also wrong.
That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do. I can do this. Ah!
Okay. Radiation corroded that sock, so only half a sock left. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise.
Hold it!
In that jaunty disguise?
Correct. Wait. No. I mean, it wasn't the first time I've worn this swimsuit for a dip in the ocean. It's tried and tested. Do what must be done to keep the English woman under surveillance. Those were my orders that day.
And this tried and tested outfit was the answer?
Being able to blend flawlessly into a crowd is an important part of a detective's job. I submerged myself in the salty water, leaving only Mr. Turtle floating inconspicuously on the surface. Mr. Turtle loves the water.
But there was no need for you to blend into the background on this assignment, really, was there?
If that made you late arriving on the scene, I think perhaps you had your priorities wrong.
Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of questioning any further at the moment.
Just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard that quarter wall from behind me. Shit! I actually didn't do... Go... back. There we go.
Oh, you're describing the victim's scream, presumably, Sasuke?
In more literal terms, you might say it was a scream that could have pierced the heavens. All the like. Of course, that was just a metaphor. Like the game, we renowned authors on wont to describing things so.
Sasuke wasn't at all like this in England.
Anyway, I spun around at the noise at the beach. Can I English? Anyway, I spun around at the noise, and the beach hut immediately fell under my gaze.
Yes, the beach hut.
The area is popular with the government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for rest and recuperation. Locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it's always very quiet. The beach hut is a simple structure erected as a place for people to change or take refuge from the sun. Although the Englishwoman commandeered the hut for herself, which meant that I was forced to change into my swimwear on the sand. I just want to point out that the floor of the beach hut is also made of sand.
I imagine that was rather embarrassing for you.
Well, anyways, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut at a run. Or in a more literal terms, I decrabbed and beetled off hut-wise. What? I ran into the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question.
Wait, by pair, you don't mean to say, but how could that be?
No, you misunderstand. Obviously, I meant the victim and the defendant, Ray Bambi.
Oh, it would have been helpful if you could have just said that from the outset.
If you jump to conclusions, you have to expect to fall flat on your face sometimes.
Dear me, pinning your hopes on such an outside chance. Foolish, very foolish.
It really was an outside chance. I just wish I would realize that before I said something silly.
So, Inspector, why don't you tell the court how exactly you found the aforementioned pair in the hut?
Well, it was a sorry sight. A really grisly scene. I parted the Norran curtain hanging in the doorway and stepped inside, only to see... The defendant leaning menacingly over the lifeless body of the victim sprawled on the sand. My glasses very nearly cracked at the ominous sight that met my eyes.
How thoroughly appalling.
He doesn't appear to be lying here.
Well, Sasuke, can you confirm what Inspector Hosonaga is saying, I wonder?
You'd like a literary man's opinion? Yes, that young girl was astride the English woman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly.
Hold it!
Stabbed wildly? You actually saw her do it?
Oh, indeed. The terrible spectre, the terrapin inspector, the bloody torrent, the author's torment. Every sight and every sound is still carved into my melancholy memory. That was my impression, at least, as a future literary sensation.
Counsel, what on earth was that shrill, effeminate scream?
No, what are you insinuating? I'm as manly a Japanese man as you.
I wonder if I might interject here, Sasuke. Something you said is troubling me. That was my impression. Were your words just now, I believe?
So, do you mean to say you're not confident that you really did see what you've described?
He's not nervous or anything. No! I mean, yes! I know what I saw. My ears didn't deceive me when I heard the scream, hence my eyes didn't deceive me either. I could describe everything I saw vividly. I could publish it all in tomorrow's newspaper serial.
It sounds as though the next installment of Armageddon may take a macabre turn.
Isn't installment written with 2 L's? I think this is a fool's errand. The more we press your author friend on what he saw, the more entrenched he's going to become.
Oh dear, how awkward.
I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times.
Hold it!
She was stabbed multiple times? How can you be sure of that?
Very simple. From the blood on the blade.
Ketchup?
When I entered the hut, I saw the defendant holding the blade raised up in the air. Yes, that's right. I saw it too.
Oh.
And I noted that there was blood on the blade already at that point. In other words, the victim had already been stabbed at least once by the time I arrived at the scene. Yes, that's right, I saw it too. And the victim was already holding the defendant's fountain pen in her hand too, which is a clear indication that she must be the culprit. All of which means I can be sure the victim did not die instantly. Smile. Yes, right, I saw it too.
Maybe a year in London was too much for him. He sounds like he's forgotten how to speak Japanese. Why are we all speaking English?
The logic of your argument is sound at least. Well, as I said, it is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly.
Perhaps it should have been your guiding principle to protect the victim flawlessly? That's just my personal opinion, of course.
Burned. Counsel, you will refrain from mocking the witness.
Oh no, I just have so many thoughts whirling around in my head. It's all I can do, stand here, wide-eyed and mute.
Goodness dear, you really must try to calm down.
But how I'm supposed to find an inconsistency in what these two gentlemen are saying?
Is the answer shade? No.
I don't see why either of them would have any reason to lie.
What you must remember, I think, is that witnesses may inadvertently lie at times. For various reasons, a misunderstanding, a mistaken observation, a delusion even. How short is this game? I don't know.
Ah, a delusion, just like this courtroom.
I mean, I can look it up. This is... shit, it has a different name. Adventures... Ace Attorney. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles doesn't help us. It's not that, it's not that. The Great Ace Attorney Adventures. There we go. Resolve. It's basically the same length as the first one. The first one is on average 30 hours and the second one is 35 hours, so it's basically the same thing. If you look at the game which includes both games, the one we are playing basically right now, it clocks in at 66 hours. So yeah. And don't worry, since I'm voice acting all this shit and don't go through the game in one go because I don't figure out every clue right away, it will be twice as long. Just to give you a hint, if we subtract now, let's say an hour from this, then it took me like 70 hours to get through the first 5 cases. Yes, you're in for a ride. What's important is that we determine the truth, and there's only one sure way to do that.
Yes, with evidence, of course.
Spoken like a true Judy. During witness testimony, you can use E to pick a piece of evidence to present for consideration.
What is this E button?
So you need to listen carefully to each statement and compare what's said to the details in the court record. If you find some conflicting information, that might be the inconsistency you're looking for. I've visited Wikipedia and Cambridge Dictionary. I still don't know the answer, but the answer is so easy.
Yes, it's all about inconsistencies.
Once you have identified a witness's statement that appears to conflict with the piece of evidence, present the evidence to the witness with R, and the way ahead will present itself to you, I'm sure. That's why we have pirates.
What is this R? Yes, alright then. I will consider the details of all the evidence in the court record against each statement to find an inconsistency. What a long sentence. I hope I'm up to the task.
Don't forget that you can have the witnesses repeat their statement as many times as you like. Everyone has to start at the beginning, remember? So the wide eyes are quite forgivable. You can repeat this as many times as you want, except every time you fuck up, there will be a life taken from your court case. And then, if you are dying, then we will take your head. And besides, there's no one else to defend the poor girl.
You're right. I need to listen to the testimony again from the start.
Oh no. Well, we shall see that another time.